It is official. The San Francisco 49ers have made quarterback Brock Purdy their franchise quarterback for the next 5 years, announcing that he has officially signed his 5 year, $265 million contract. Let's go. Not only that, this will be my first opportunity to have a live reaction to Fred Warner's contract extension as well. Yesterday, I was not able to get to that. I was out on the Delta with the family celebrating my 36th birthday yesterday on the 19th, and the San Francisco 49ers gave me a great birthday present with the extension news of Fred Warner getting that deal done. So we're going to talk about all those things plus additional news. There's a bunch of stuff going on with the San Francisco 49ers, and we're going to get into that all right now. But you guys already know what to do. Drop an SDS in the chat, smash that like button, and let's get into it all right now. Let's go. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. All right, the San Francisco 49ers have been busy this offseason, but I think they have been busy in a way that 49er fans are very, very happy about, of course. But first, shout out to the SDS. Smash that like button. What is good, everyone? Good to see you guys hopping in here. Thank you for the belated birthday wishes. I appreciate you. And let's talk about it. Let's talk about Fred Warner first, because I really haven't had the opportunity to talk too much about that whole situation and that coming down. But as you guys already know, yesterday, the San Francisco 49ers announced their contract extension with LB1. Freddie Warner gets locked up to a 3-year, $63 million contract extension with $56.7 million guaranteed. Oh boy, he got a big old payday, and you absolutely love to see it. I mean, when you look at this offseason and you look at the San Francisco 49ers signing George Kittle, signing Brock Purdy, and signing Fred Warner, you see them locking up cornerstone pieces that they can build, they can add to, they can do a lot of different things, not only for this year, but into the future. And I think there's this notion, there's this thought process that if the San Francisco 49ers are going to pay their guys, they can't do anything else. Well, I disagree with that, because I do believe the foundation of the team should be built through the draft. And the San Francisco 49ers are showing you exactly what that looks like. Fred Warner, George Kittle, and Brock Purdy were all drafted by the 49ers, developed at home here in the Bay Area. You got a 3rd-round pick, a 5th-round pick, and Mr. Irrelevant, showing you exactly why the draft is important, showing you exactly why that you don't need to always go out and sign all these high-priced free agents. Take care of your own, build your roster through the draft, hit on guys like Fred Warner, George Kittle, Brock Purdy, and let the rest play itself out. So I'm happy about it. We know that people are going to have their own opinions, whether good, bad, or indifferent about this situation. But as a 49er fan, it is really hard to look at the San Francisco 49ers locking up these three players and thinking, oh, this is bad business. Oh, this is a bad move. I just don't see it. Oh, well, they spent all this money. They're not going to be able to build out their roster. Look at all the players that have left. I don't agree with that. Listen, a lot of the guys that left, there were guys that I appreciated as Niners. Your Talanoa Hufangas, your Dre Greenlaws, um, guys like that. Yeah, man. Like it stinks to see those guys go. But at the end of the day, the San Francisco 49ers can supplement their losses with additions through the draft. Obviously, we see Charvarius Ward go. They drafted Renardo Green. We see Aaron Banks go. They drafted Dominic Pooney. It's a circle of life in the NFL. And as long as the San Francisco 49ers are taking care of their cornerstone foundational pieces, you can backfill with other positions as long as they do what they're paid to do, which is evaluate talent and draft the right guys. And so we look at this last draft, you look at Michael Williams, you look at Alfred Collins, you look at two guys who are going to instantly plug in to that starting defensive line. You got guys like Nick Martin, who's probably going to play that Dre Greenlaw role. And you got Upton Stout to come in to be a nickel corner, allowing Diamador and Renardo to play on the outside. So there are ways to maneuver through this. They did bring Juice back. Juice is back for 2 more years. So they brought him back. And I think when you look at the Fred Warner edition, it again solidifies that. I think that there's this notion and this theory that the 49ers window is closed to go for the Super Bowl. What is that based on exactly? I do think that, if we're going to talk about this window, it's definitely not wide open, but I don't think it's slammed shut. There's always this conversation about, oh, their window's open, their window's closed. The window is whatever the San Francisco 49ers want it to be, right? Because if they can stay healthy and they get contributions from these rookies and their leaders step up and the coaching falls into place with Saleh and with Brant Boyer and Kyle Shanahan gets back in the lab and you now lock up your quarterback, your tight end. If Brandon Ayuk gets healthy, if Christian McCaffrey can't stay healthy for an entire season, why is the window closed? Is it because the Rams have gotten better? Is it because Seattle has gotten better? Is it because Arizona has gotten better through the drafts as well? Listen, people are so quick to say that the San Francisco 49ers run is over. And I'm having a hard time with that. I really am. Like, last year was atrocious. Last year was god awful for every single person involved. it was one of the weirder years I'd ever been a part of. And it started directly immediately after the Super Bowl loss. And as we all know, and as we've all experienced, it just progressed into next year. So everyone's now assuming, and we know what it is. It's a what have you done for me lately type of league. Recency bias reigns supreme. And so when you look at what the 49ers have done recently, it wasn't good. And so that is now how the 49ers are ultimately defined. But the way that I look at it and the way that I've been covering the San Francisco 49ers since 2017, since Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch have taken over, is that 2020 didn't define the San Francisco 49ers, just like 2024 will not define the San Francisco 49ers. So Hey, I'm with Hendricks too. He says, I think it's fair for pundits to doubt after last season. I agree. I think it's fair as well. But on top of being fair, I don't think it's correct. Like you can look at last year within a vacuum and be like, well, yeah, look at how they did last year. Of course, they're going to not be as good as they were the year prior, where they went to the Super Bowl. The law of averages will play out, and you would say that, oh, the 49ers are regressing, they're on the decline. So I understand that logic. I understand why people outside of the 49ers would look at the 49ers as a depreciating or a declining asset. But hey, just like Jed York selling, I think it was like what, 6.2% of the 49ers franchise to some minority owners. Um, Yesterday's price is not today's price. And where have we heard that before? So just because yesterday, and we're speaking 2024, the San Francisco 49ers weren't all that great, I don't think that necessarily is going to translate into this year. And I think we're already seeing those changes play out in the offseason. And let me explain a little bit further what we're talking about today. The fact that Brock Purdy has been locked up to his deal before really phase 3 OTAs and mandatory minicamp have kicked off is fantastic. The fact that George Kittle gets locked up right after the NFL draft, amazing. Fred Warner, a guy who still had years left on his deal, renegotiates his contract, and we got Fred Warner locked in for 3 more years, all before OTAs and mandatory minicamp. And if you have followed my offseason coverage of the San Francisco 49ers for long enough, you would know that this period of time is typically just dominated by holdout stuff, holdout news, all like, oh, we got this report from this today. Oh, we got that report. We got this social media situation playing out. And I think the 49ers have seen this stack up. I think they listen to their players. I think that is one of my biggest takeaways from the 49ers front office throughout this period in getting all 3 of these deals done is I think they listened to their leaders. I think they understood that these long, drawn out, knockout negotiations actually impacted these players on the field. And if you are going to be paying these players the highest paid at their position, doesn't it make sense to have them getting ready for the upcoming season in which they're going to make a bulk majority of their money to be playing at the best possible performance perspective as possible, and I think that's where they have really kind of, at least my perception, what I'm seeing is that's how it feels. It feels like they've seen the negatives of drama-filled contract negotiations, and they said, we're not going to do that this year. And obviously it takes 2 to tango, player and agent side included, but I think they have seen the light, and that's why I'm pretty pleased with Parag Marathe, Jed York, John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan. Obviously, this time of the year falls predominantly on Parag's shoulders in regards to responsibility. So I'm very pleased. I'm pleased, baby. I'm pretty stoked about it because it has just been such a welcomed change and vibe for the San Francisco 49ers to be able to get and especially with the quarterback, right? We've been talking about this for a couple years in the lead up to Brock Purdy getting paid and just talking about like this could get a little rough if this is a long drawn out crazy situation, and I'm really glad that it's not going to be that. And I'm really glad that when you look at the initial details of Brock Purdy's negotiation and his contract, is it looks like a win-win for both sides. And when you got a win-win for both sides, that's a win-win for the fan base. So I love it. I think we're all winning this offseason. Last year, we were all losing. Fans, players, organization, media, we all lost last offseason. Not only did we lose the Super Bowl, but we continued to lose throughout the year. And I really do believe that this is a huge change. It's a huge change from and a huge deviation from what the 49ers have executed in years past. And for that, I am appreciative of it. I'm thankful. Um, you know, I know my opinion doesn't matter, but if Parag was standing right in front of me, I'd be like, Parag, can I shake your hand, man, and just say thank you? Just thank you. Thank you for getting this done. Thank you for ensuring that I think the future of this franchise is still bright. And I think competitive years are staring at us right in the face. Again, I don't think that the 49ers window is closed. Obviously, we don't have the perception of just being the super team like we've had in the past, which I embrace. I think that fits the makeup of this team phenomenally. And with Brock Purdy at the helm, that's exactly what we're going to be. Just like our humble King Brock, we're gonna be humble as well. Brock Purdy, Quill, Penn official. They are starting to drop the assets of Brock Purdy signing his contract. So we got the images, and as we mentioned, it is official, like a referee with a whistle. You love to see it. Look at Brock, man. Also, one of the favorite things that I love that has come out as you got Brock Purdy signing his contract is you got his family, and I don't know, people are gonna look at these images and all this stuff, but his family kind of celebrating with a cake. Carrie Purdy, his mother, says, "Congratulations, Brock. We love you, son, and are so proud to be a part of your incredible journey. God is good. It was so fun celebrating with you this weekend. Now go celebrate with Jenna. Hashtag bang bang XOXO mom." And then you get the image of Brock with his siblings, his brother Chuba, and his sister with her husband and his wife Jenna. And a lot of people have made comments about the cake, about how it's like some standard, like, I don't know, Safeway cake. But to be honest, I love that it's that. Like, I love that this is either a homemade cake or they went and they picked it up from the local grocery store, slapped some frosting. I love it. I freaking love it. To me, it's like it's it feels so wholesome. It's so just it's just so like it's not about the Instagram image. Does that make sense? And I think that's why people have commented on it, is because it's not one of these like, you know, exorb like just insane cakes that they make nowadays, right? It's just like, hey, go run, let's go run to a cake. We're gonna get congrats. Like I love it. This cake looks like my birthday cake that I had last night. Like, I don't want one of these fancy cakes. I want something like this. See, Brock's just like me for real. That's it. The dots are aligning. It's making too much sense now. I'm just playing, but it legit looks like the cake that not legit. I had it's actually a Costco cake. Don't sleep on Costco cakes either. Frosting hits. I'm not going to speculate on anything else from these images. As a husband of a wonderful wife who has had 4 children, I will not be speculating on anything in that regard. If that announcement comes and, hey, whatever, congratulations. I'm not speculating on nothing. You will not catch me. No, sirree, Bob. All due respect to Brock, his family, and his wife. Joy knows, and I think Joy knows that I know, but I'm playing the role. Hey, I saw nothing. What? I didn't see anything. I saw nothing. That announcement's going to come on their own good on their time. I didn't see anything. What are you talking about? What? And I think anyone who has had kids before is like smelt it from a mile away. But again, that's where the speculation ends for me. I know nothing. But I'm just, I love it. I love the whole situation. I love that Brock is our quarterback. I really do. I think it's an underrated thing, and I've mentioned it multiple times. I don't think a lot of people recognize how much Brock has captured our young fans. Like, anyone 20 or older, they're old enough to have their own opinions. Whatever. They're gonna say whatever they want about the quarterback. Doesn't matter. What I don't think people realize is how much the younger kids in middle school, in elementary school, like have gravitated towards Brock. And I've seen it close up. I talked about this a long time ago. Went to a Dude Perfect concert, or Dude Perfect thing at the SAP Center in San Jose with my kids and my wife. And I'm sure you guys are familiar with Dude Perfect, the dudes who do all the trick shot stuff on YouTube and all of that stuff. They're obviously huge to be able to literally take up arenas and do tours. But I'll never, this was back heading into the training camp of 2022, or no, 2023. So Brock was heading into year 2, torn UCL. 49ers signed Sam Darnold, and Trey Lance is there competing healthy. So you guys remember this training camp well. It was one of the more intense things I've ever had to cover. But in the lead up to that training camp, we were at this show, and they had all their guys talking about, if you're a fan of Steph Curry, say what's up. Everyone screams because of Steph Curry. They get to the 49ers part of it, and everyone shout out Trey Lance. And it was like crickets. It was like, and again, mind you, this is an arena full of kids. Like, obviously their parents have taken them there, but it's all kids. Like, and it was like, woo. I was like, oh. And then they had to come back. They're like, hey, well, we talked about Trey Lance, but what about Brock Purdy? And the stadium goes, ah, everyone goes crazy. And you're just like, me, I talk about the 49ers all the time. It was an interesting thing to see, right? Kids, they don't care about your advanced analytics. They don't care about what the annual per year on average salary they're making it. They don't care about these things. They just care of, do I watch you? Do you make plays? Do you entertain me? And do I like to root for you? And, they don't care where you're drafted, none of that. And so, like, for me, that was an experience where I'm like, wow, dude, these kids love Brock. Like, they love Brock. And that was like my first experience, like really seeing kind of the youth and what their impression of Brock was. So that stood out to me big time. And what that is only going to do is that is going to solidify the next generation of fans for 49ers. They now have a quarterback that they can root for. They now have a guy who they can watch grow with the franchise and grow with the team and hopefully lead them to the success, which is obviously a Super Bowl. That's what we want it for. That's what we're looking for. And I think that the 49ers can absolutely do it with Brock Purdy. I mean, Brock Purdy walked off the field in the Super Bowl in overtime with the lead. If you can so confidently say that Brock Purdy is incapable of winning a Super Bowl, then that's an argument that I am not going to engage in with you, because that's just based on the bias that you have and what you believe. And everyone's entitled to what they believe and all that stuff. But yeah, I do believe Brock is definitely capable of winning a Super Bowl. So that is one reason why I am also excited. I believe that Brock, being 25 years old, just reaching the cusp of his prime, like he's at the beginning. Like, I'm excited to see what Brock Purdy looks like at 20, 27, 28, 29. What is Brock Purdy doing then? What level of quarterback play will he be executing at that point? Because you believe that he should be able to become an even better processor, a guy who's better at seeing the field, better at reading defenses. At that point, will have seen everything, and will just be able to get after it. What is Brock at his athletic peak? I think Brock at his athletic peak is what he was versus the Patriots this last year. I thought what he was able to do against the Patriots to me was what he is capable of doing week in and week out. Um, I just felt like, we've seen the glimpses of it, but just a, the ability to escape, the ability to create, um, make plays, get first downs, things like that. I mean, the numbers weren't crazy. Like he didn't do anything, but I just remember that game as something that like stood out to me as like, all right, this is what he could be. He could be this kind of dual quarterback, a guy who can use his legs, can use his mobility. I don't need a guy who's going to rush for 60 yards a game. Like that's not what I'm looking for. For Brock, it's when plays break down. When you get to a point where the structure of the play isn't going to work. So you need to use your athleticism to create, get out, and make plays. And I think Brock was good in that aspect at the beginning of last year. I think towards the middle of last year, he started to press a little bit more. So I think that it's there. He's shown he's capable of it. Now I think it's refining it and being able to utilize it more effectively and efficiently, which again is on par with a 24-year-old quarterback who's still learning, who's still growing. And again, I think one of the biggest elements to this whole situation is that he no longer has to worry about, am I the guy? Am I the franchise quarterback? I'm playing for he doesn't, none of that. It's done. It is done. He is signed on the dotted line. And I think that is going to unlock a part of his game. Um, I think a lot of what last year was putting too much pressure on himself, pressing too much, and taking on too much. And anyone who is good at something understands what this is. If you've ever been good at anything, you understand what it feels like to press a little too hard, to push a little too much, and putting too much pressure on yourself, and how that can kind of backfire on you a little bit. So, what I think this contract is going to resemble is actually less pressure. Really, I think that in other instances, I do believe that contracts can add pressure because now all anyone is going to be talking about is, oh, wow, 49ers paid this for Brock. Oh, he's not like, to be fair, Brock has been under scrutiny since day one. I probably have covered it a little too well um, on Purdy. We know a lot of people, like you got Colin Cowherd taking all his shots on him. You've got Nick Wright, who's, made a living off of talking down on Brock Purdy. Steven Ruiz, a guy that we covered. Like there are plenty of guys who have decided that that's where they want to plant their flag. And so we have heard a ton of that. So that's none of that is new. What I think is the internal pressure that has been taken off of him. So I think to him, he got a deal that confirms he's the guy. He got a deal that confirms he's worthy. He got a deal that confirms this is his team. And as a result of that, I think that will unlock Purdy to another level. So, of course, we got to wait and see. We got to see how it ultimately plays out. But I'm I'm looking forward to it, man. I really am. The boys, we got man, we got Purdy locked up. We got Kittle locked up, and we got Fred Warner locked up. The vibes, the vibes. Yeah, Michael signed fully guaranteed contract like a week ago. So Michael signed. I think the only guy that we're waiting for is Alfred Collins. So we need Alfred Collins to get locked in. But after that, I think we got most of our rookies. I've seen this question asked a couple times. Should the San Francisco 49ers pay Jauan Jennings? This is an interesting one that I do think takes a little bit of thought. My heart, the fan inside of me says absolutely you sign Jauan Jennings. Um, because he has been fantastic for the San Francisco 49ers. He was their number one producing wide receiver. He is 27 years old, going to be 28 years old, and 2025 will be the final year of his deal. He only has a cap hit of 4.2 this upcoming season after he signed a 2-year, $11.8 million contract in 2024, where he also signed for 8.4 million guaranteed with a 6.2 signing bonus. So the only thing that is having me pause on potential Jauan Jennings contract is, will Jauan be commanding over 20 million per year? I think that's where it becomes a little challenging. The player, absolutely love him. He embodies exactly what it is to be a Niner. He's great. I don't think anyone will ever say anything in that regard. It's what does that contract look like? Because he did sign kind of a 2-year, like got a raise for sure. Opposed to being, I think it was like a restricted, I think he was a restricted free agent when he signed that deal. I would have to assume he would probably try to go for 20 over 20 mil, especially with the rise in price in wide receivers, because I want to look at another contract. What did Joshua Palmer? I don't know if you guys know who Joshua Palmer is. He's a wide receiver now for the Bills. He signed. Oh, he's not that bad. I mean, if Jauan signed a deal like this, I think that would be great. 3 years, $29 million deal. I think that would be fantastic. 18 million total guaranteed. But I don't know. I don't know if he's taking that. That's actually only that's an average salary of 10, so it's still in that range. It's just about 3 years. So we'll have to see. Um, but I would assume, like I said, it would be between 15 and 20 per year. So that would be my only hesitation is just to see how much. But if you signed him for like a Josh Palmer, 3 years, 30, I'm down for that for sure. But again, also, I think you're signing Jawan. You have to have. I don't currently have a full understanding of the 49ers cap situation, not only for this year, but the next couple years. So it's hard for me to say because that's what I think would be the main criteria. The main criteria isn't is Jawan player a good player or deserving of a contract? Because if that's the criteria, the answer is a resounding yes, he is. The question is, how does he fit from a contractual standpoint? So that's my only concern. Because if he plays this year without a deal, that means he will be an unrestricted free agent heading into next year, which means he will have the opportunity to test his value on the open market if they get to that point where we saw how teams spent this year on 49ers players. Like, you guys saw how much Aaron Banks got in free agency? I could not believe it. I couldn't believe it. So there could absolutely be another team that comes along and says, hey, we'll pay JJ a lot of money. So I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes, man. Again, to me, the Jauan Jennings conversation is more about contractual fit. Uh, and I just currently don't have a great footing on the totality of the 49ers like overall cap space. That's again just that's a hard, like, if I go to 2026, for 2026 the 49ers currently have 20 or 21st in cap taken up. They have the 11th most cap space for 2026. Dang. Oh, the cap is pushed super back though. So in 2026, they'll be 11th in available cap space, but if you jump up to 2029, they're 29th in available cap space. So again, the Jauan Jennings conversation to me is just more about how does he fit financially uh, than actually you know personality, play style, things like that. Because you got Ricky Pearsall. Is Brandon Ayuk gonna stick around? So we'll see. Silent says love JJ, but he's not a must keep. Put that money in the O line. That's an interesting concept. The 49ers could do that, but we'll see. We'll see. The 49ers definitely have the opportunity to give Jauan an extension for sure. So we'll see if it comes to that. Hendrick says, can't remember the last time vibes were this high for an offseason. 2021. 2021 was like the last like pure bliss offseason that I can think of, because that was we signed Trent Williams, we re-signed Trent, we re-signed Kyle Juszczyk, we signed Mac in free agency. We traded up. We knew we were getting a quarterback. I would say probably 2021 was the last time that vibes were this high for the offseason. Because ever since then, we have just been dealing with some kind of contract negotiation, some kind of drama. We had the Jimmy Garoppolo drama in 22. Yeah, there's just a lot. There's a lot of stuff. But yeah, the vibes are high because I think there's optimism. I think there is optimism. I saw this question. Where did it go? Matthew said, Brad, do you honestly believe the 49ers team is built for a Super Bowl this coming year? I don't think that it is a foregone conclusion that the 49ers are going to the Super Bowl. I want to make that abundantly clear. But I do see a team that is built to be very competitive. And I do see a team that if they can stay healthy and they can take advantage of their schedule and get into the playoffs with momentum, once they get into the playoffs, it's only like, and let's say they're playing from the wild card, that's only 3 games that they need to win in order to get to the Super Bowl. I think the Super Bowl is a possibility for sure. Am I saying it's a foregone conclusion? Am I banging my fists on the table that that's what it's going to be? No, I'm not doing that. I am saying, though, that they aren't as dead in the water as some people are making them out to be. I do believe if they can stay healthy and they can stay fresh and they can stay rejuvenated and they can play complementary football. The biggest thing that I have missed from the 49ers is offense helping the defense and defense helping the offense and special teams helping both. That is what I have missed. We did not get that last year. It was one of the more frustrating elements of watching 49ers football last year is if the 49ers did well, the 49ers offense did well, the defense didn't do well. If the defense did well, the 49ers offense didn't do well. And just special teams struggled all year. So no side was helping each other. The team wasn't working as a well-operated machine. And when the 49ers are at their peak, everything is helping everything. So offense is running the ball, going on long scoring drives, running clock, defense, getting off the field on third downs, not having crazy long drives, special teams, changing field position, kicking field goals, making field goals. Complementary football is underrated. If the 49ers can get back to that, get back to aiding each side, dude, the 49ers have the opportunity to, I think, win a lot of football games because it's fundamental. It's fundamental. Winning the line of scrimmage. It's the simple, easy things of football that they just need to get back to. And it starts with being healthy, and it starts with executing. And they didn't execute well last year, and they weren't healthy either. And both things absolutely bit them in the tail. So I do think if the 49ers get back to that, they're absolutely in a position to make some plays this season. So that's why I'm excited about this year. I'm optimistic about this upcoming season. I'm glad that all these contracts have been knocked out, and I'm really, really excited about 49ers football. Definitely since 2023. I wasn't super excited about last year. Last year was a drag from the very beginning. And I think this year, I think everyone feels refreshed, rejuvenated, and ready to go. And I would assume the fan base feels that to a certain extent as well. So I'm excited to see what we get, but it starts with these moves in the offseason. 49ers sign Kittle, sign Brock, and Fred Warner. And now we can focus on the upcoming season. And honestly, it's a great parallel. Um, People doubted the Eagles this time last year. Absolutely. Eagles went on a run and they won the freaking Super Bowl. And it's a very similar situation. Guess what? They were a running back away. Our running back got hurt and barely played. If Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy, it's amazing. It is amazing what could happen. Shout out to Joy. I love the profile pic too. Got the hubby in the Seahawks gear. That's awesome. So we'll see what other news continues to pop out, but appreciate you guys as always for tapping in, supporting the channel. Make sure you like this video on your way out. All that good stuff. Sub if you haven't, grab your cookies, and I appreciate you guys. I'll see you. Actually, I don't know if I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is my daughter's birthday. My birthday was yesterday. My daughter's birthday is tomorrow. I do think we will probably be back out on the boat. I do know Brock Purdy speaks, I think at 1:30. He'll have his press conference. I don't know if I'll be live tomorrow or not. Just taking time, spending it with my family right now. That's first for me. And we'll see. We'll see what the content looks like tomorrow, but we will have Purdy speaking and all that good stuff. I'm sure I'll make some posts here or there. But don't wait up all night if you don't see that I haven't gone live or any of that stuff. So, and again, appreciate your guys' support throughout this time. You can probably tell I'm not going as live as frequently. And again, just trying to spend more time with my family throughout this whole situation and all that good stuff. But by the time season comes back around, we'll be back and we'll be up to speed. How young did I turn? I like the way that you phrased that, Chili. Spoken like a wise man. I turned 36. Woo! 36, baby. Definitely not feeling like a spring chicken anymore these days. It was cool. Like I had mentioned that in the video I made about Fred Warner, and a bunch of people had said happy birthday, and a lot of people were like, "Oh man, you're still young." I wish I was 36, and I'm just like, "You're right. I got to enjoy this time, and I don't need to speed up my clock, right? I think for me, it's because I think a part of my brain still thinks I'm like in my early 20s, and it's like I have to remind myself, man, you're not you're you're a little older than that, and you've got 4 kids. It's time to catch up. But I think every birthday is just a reminder, like, dude, you're not 21 years old anymore. I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. But hey, age is just a mindset, right? Age is just a mindset. So, but I appreciate everyone, and again, shout out to all you guys who wished me a happy birthday. Shout out to everyone who wished my daughter a happy birthday, and all that good stuff. Appreciate the 49er fam. And I'll be seeing you guys. But again, grab a cookie on your way out, or a piece of birthday cake, whatever you like. And I'll see you guys on the other side. Peace. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to